And I said, Amen. What is going on, guys? We are to the end. The last episode, the finale, the coup de grace, the icing on the cake, the big cheesecake. We got it. So, welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning. I am here with these awesome ladies. I'm, of course, here with Taylor. What's going on, Taylor?
Good morning.
And our special guest has finally arrived. I am so happy to bring her in and have her input in here. Good morning, Sandra.
Good morning to you, Dan and Taylor, and good afternoon for the East Coast side like me.
Heck yeah. So if you guys are drinking beer, you drink your beer. I'll drink my coffee. So let's get into this. We're talking Mayans MC season 3, the finale. I know everybody is waiting to get their thoughts on here, to hear the thoughts on here as well. So man, let's just jump right into this because this is going to be a long one. So I'm going to start off with Sandra. What did you think about this season finale?
Well, my first comment on this is like I am very conflicted with this episode. I was excited to see the finale, but I was left with a lot and a lot and a lot of unanswered questions and opened storyline that I now have to wait 1 year to see what's happening. So it was yeah, that's pretty much what I can say right now about this.
You know, you hit it on the head too because we gotta wait 1 year for this. Taylor, what was your thoughts on the season finale?
I thought the season finale had elements that were predicted by a couple of us and
Mm-hmm.
the members of the chat, and there was also elements that surprised me, and I gave this episode an 8 out of 10.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. For me, my feelings was that it didn't feel like a season finale. It felt like an episode before the season finale. When I come into a season finale, I think a little more oomph, a little bit more extravagance, just a little bit more something. A little bit more of a gut punch. But I did enjoy the episode though. I just didn't think it was like a season finale type episode. So let's get into the episode. And Sandra, let's get into, you know what? Let's start this off. Let's get into that Marcus Alvarez and Nestor scene and that whole thing. And Taylor, I think you said that you thought that Nestor was gunning for Marcus. So what are your guys' thoughts on, because this was like probably the most, I actually really liked this surprise. I thought this was actually this was really interesting, and I was glad that they didn't go the route of Nestor maybe killing Marcus. But Marcus is alive. So what is your guys' thoughts on this? Sandra, you go first.
So I'm not gonna lie, I held my breath on last episode when they were in the desert because I truly believed that Miguel was going to kill Marcus. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
happen. And then when the episode started and I saw Marcus removing his Mayan ring, that gave me a really bad feeling on where he was going to lead. But then we see them in the truck, and you could see that Marcus was not going to like go and kill Easy right away when he saw him like driving into the meat shop. He wanted to take his time, but that's when I started thinking, like, you know what, maybe he's gonna hold on to his loyalty to Mayans, and Easy being, like he said, he was his boy.
Yeah.
So then when they were driving around and then at that stop sign, I did not know. I knew by then that Marcus was going to hold, but I didn't know what Nestor was going to do. And that was like, okay, what are those two going to do? Because um, Nestor is pro Miguel, and then you have Marcus that's pro Easy. So what's going to happen between the two of them? So that was very fun to see, but I still don't know what's going to happen now with those two.
What about you, Taylor? What do you think about that?
Well, I knew that there was going to be some conflict between Nestor and Alvarez on killing Easy Reyes. What I was surprised to see is that Nestor shifted over to Alvarez's side, and I felt like that could have been, and maybe they could have done it a little bit better, because I felt like Nestor was too easily swayed at the end of that scene to go to Alvarez's side and abandon Miguel. So I just felt like it wasn't really in Nestor's character to switch like that so easily.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a little bit on the weak side. Weak sauce.
Weak sauce. Yeah, that was like below the mild sauce, right, of Taco Bell. So it didn't give you that little hit. So I agree. Like, I thought, Nestor, a lot of people feel like he's a little bit soft. I mean, I said Marcus was getting soft. I think Nestor really got soft this season, with that overall conclusion of those two. But I did enjoy it though. I did like the whole overall, because it was like kind of foreshadowed that Marcus was gonna die, but he didn't die, taking off the Mayan ring. I thought that was the most intense part of the episode, when those two were in the truck, or was it in the car, and it's just like, is he gonna do it or is he not gonna do it? Is he gonna kill Easy? He's right there. And then I really love the line delivery. Just really, that's my boy. That's my boy Nestor. Conflicted too. It was really easy. Like, yeah, that switch was kind of like, it made me think the whole episode. Boy, Miguel has no people who's loyal to him. Nobody is loyal to Miguel. This is like the most. That happens in like a cartel like that, but I thought that was like, man, Miguel has no loyalty, and I think he's like the worst cartel person ever. But are you guys glad that Sandra? I know you're glad, but Taylor, are you happy that Marcus is still like alive? And do you think there's going to be like big things to come for him in season 4?
I'm glad you set the question up like that, because yes, I do think that the reason that Elgin maybe did Alvarez's story this way, and everyone abandoning Miguel, is, I think Elgin, and because he knows what's to come, more we don't, right? So he's got this overall plan that he's working towards, and I think he realized that maybe Miguel is not the way that he wants to have that much focus on. So if we have Miguel getting on a helicopter to flee to an undisclosed location to avoid the American police, I'm assuming he's going somewhere in Mexico, maybe.
I'm assuming there is other spots he can go to, I guess.
Right.
I'm actually thinking that Miguel might not even show up a lot in season 4.
Yeah, I was going there. So I was thinking that perhaps for season 4 we're going to see less of Miguel, if anything at all. Like, maybe he'll do like what Potter did for the majority of this season, is basically sit out for a while until he's needed again. And then here we have Marcus returning. Now he's got Nestor on his side. And maybe he's going to help the Mayans clean up this civil war that we have going on.
Well, let me ask Sandra this. Yeah, Sandra. So Taylor makes a good point, and a lot of people are asking, like, is Marcus going to kind of save the day at the end of this finale? What do you think is going to happen now that him and Nestor are kind of have an alliance going on? Is he going to go back to the Mayans? Like, is he going to patch back in? Like, what are your thoughts on that whole situation, Sandra?
I do not think he's going to patch back. I think with the last conversation he had with Bishop, that was very much like, they are separating each other because Bishop thinks that he went against family by going with the Galindo. And for me, I think he's not going to be patched in. He's not going to become a Mayan again, but he will definitely take what he can to help San Pedro, because now it's San Pedro against the all other charters.
Yeah.
So I just think he's going to probably bring his experience and his past to try to help Santo Padre to go against this big war that's coming into season 4.
Yeah, yeah. And then also, you know what? I think what I'm looking forward to in season 4, I don't know how they're going to set it up, but I would love to see the confrontation between Marcus and Diaz. I think that would be a really good like one-on-one dialogue scene. So, because I said that Diaz was alive, and Diaz is alive in this episode. Is confirmation. So, and boy, is he alive. But before we hit on to that, I want to ask you guys. So, since we're talking a little bit about Miguel, how did you feel about Miguel's storyline reaching at this point on the season finale? I'll give you my 2 cents here. I just gotta say, Miguel is a horrible cleanup job. Does a horrible cleanup job on a scene that I thought he should have known better. The backlash, like especially with him and the Emily relationship. So Sandra, what did you think about Miguel's storyline and how it now it kind of Potter? I guess we got to introduce Potter into this too. What did you think about Potter coming back, and what did you think about that whole storyline where Miguel now has to flee?
So let me make something clear for me, and that's been since day one. I am not a fan of the whole Galindo storyline. I
You're
am
not
not
the
a
only
fan.
one. Yeah.
I have not been since day one, and this year it's even it's good for Mayan storyline, but I just thought that it was almost like a waste to have that Galindo storyline because it didn't achieve nothing
Mm-hmm.
other than at the end knowing that now Emily left him with Cristobal and she's still in love with Easy. So
I'm
that's
gonna disagree.
Uh, we're gonna get to you. We're gonna get to you, Taylor, because I have a big question for you. But continue, Sandra.
So I just don't know where they wanted to go with that storyline. And the whole Potter at the end, you knew it was coming because of the whole Adelita coming back and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to know the truth about everything.
Yeah.
I wish Potter was dead 1 season ago.
Mm.
But yeah, the Galindo Miguel, I don't know. In my opinion, and for me, I would just drop it completely, but that's not my decision.
Taylor, we said that Potter would probably make a. I thought it was gonna be a cameo, but he was really into the finale. So let's Taylor. My question to you is: so Potter comes in. He he throws a wrench in Miguel's just in Miguel's life. So what did you think about Potter coming in, Taylor? What were your thoughts on when you saw him? Do you think? Do you agree? Do you think this should have ended maybe in a season finale? This whole storyline with Potter and everybody, and then I guess we got to touch upon a little bit of Adelita. What did you think about Adelita scenes in the season finale?
Okay, so there's a lot of stuff to unpack. There's
Mm-hmm.
multiple storylines there.
Yes,
Okay,
there is.
um, so I guess the first place I want to start with Miguel first and the Galindos and get that
Mm-hmm.
out of the way. So there's okay, so as far as Miguel cleaning or not cleaning up his bathroom murder scene fiasco there, yeah, I think in terms of okay, so I have to look at this in terms of like a complete story, and to sit here and watch it play out on screen, it's easier to judge while you're not the one sitting down trying to write this out to make sure that it makes sense. Like, how do you properly enter a character? How do you properly exit a character? There's a lot of these layers that are going on in order to make a complete season. So I was thinking, I think this was the exit point for Miguel. I don't think he's going to be gone, but I think he's going to be like almost not at all there next
Yeah,
season. And I
agree.
think Elgin wanted a better way to finally end Miguel and Emily. And this was his way of doing it. And then he could shelf one or both next season is what I think was going on in his head. So you'd have to be a little soft in the head to not think that Elgin doesn't know the Galindos are not the most popular storyline or story arc in characters in this show. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it was wise to show their relationship crumbling. Everyone was worried about like the sister, like what is the sister doing here for?
Yeah.
To sow doubt in Emily about her marriage, because Emily is like, no, he's fine. You don't know everything about our marriage. And the sister prying and being like, look, you don't belong here. You deserve something better. And then Emily has this moment when Miguel tries to kill her. And of course he didn't clean everything up. And she's like looking around. She's trying to remember what happened. And she's looking in the glass and she's noticing a lot of her pills are missing. Mm-hmm. And she sees the powder residue from the pills in the glass. And then she realizes, okay, this is it. I need to get away, not just for herself, but for her son.
Yeah.
And that moment when Potter enters the scene, not only was it a way for us to be like, oh yeah, we still have to wrap up that loose end because Potter was shelved for this season. And so he comes back into the finale to screw with Miguel again. And now Miguel is having to basically flee because his house is about to get raided. He was under arrest. He's got a warrant for his arrest. Emily is like, this is my chance to get away then.
Yeah.
Because I'm supposed to meet him and escape with him, or I can take my son and leave.
Yeah.
And I think that's what needed to happen. I think the Galindos needed to split up and they need to go away for a little while, or at least one of them needs to go away for a while in order for us to be able to focus on more characters and have another. I mean, I love season 3. I thought it was a strong season, but I think season 4 can be stronger if we start pulling the weeds out of the garden, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Like, I think the season 4 could be a stronger in the writing point. Because honestly, when I think about the sister, you make a good point about like how, I guess she was the one that kind of got it into Emily's head that, you know, Miguel is a monster basically.
Right. And you have to have doubt sown in the character, and you can't just have her be like, oh, he's abusive. No, she has to have that back and forth.
Now I would
and reach that conclusion.
Yeah, I would have preferred though. I still don't think they needed the sister. I think I would have preferred her coming to that realization on her own. I think it would have been a more stronger message, honestly. That
was the point. I think maybe you missed that point that they were trying to put in. A lot of people who are in toxic relationships are not really able to see it from the outside. And the sister was there to paint that picture for her.
Well, I still don't think she needed the sister. And my example is that Jennifer Lopez movie. The one, is it called? I think it was called Enough. Like she came to that realization on her own. And Emily, I think she I feel like she could have came to that realization on her own. But then again, I think she should have died last episode, honestly. But you're right about Elgin James too, like kind of like splitting them apart. That's a unique way. Instead of just just killing somebody, having them flee is a unique way for Miguel. Because you're right, I don't think he's going to be a huge part of the season, but he'll still be kind of there. But then again, I also said in this episode, boy, did his henchmen or his let Emily go really easily, even though he was following her through the whole episode. I was like, yeah, that was a really easy slip that Emily gave him. Like, Galindo's guys are just terrible, man, just terrible. So let's dive into it. Potter. Let's dive into Potter and Adelita, and then we'll get into the comments. Sandra, what did you think about that whole dynamic with Potter and Adelita? Did you think that the baby was dead, or did you think that the baby was still alive?
I never believed the baby was dead since the beginning, even though we were made thinking that it was, because then there's no story behind it if there's no baby at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. And I think that with the whole Angel and her Adelita, I think that is going to be hopefully it's going to be a major part of season 4. But the thing that I am confused right now is that the time that Potter went to the market and came back, all those flies in the kitchen, I mean, was he gone for like 7 hours and the meat brought all the flies? That was because now my question is, It must be. My question is, did Adelita kill the wife and the kid, and that's what brought all the flies in? I don't know, but maybe I'm wrong. But the first time you see Adelita with the knife, there was blood on the knife, correct?
And on her shirt. There was blood on her shirt too.
Okay, so the blood on the shirt, we know that when she went to the restaurant to talk to the ATF, what's her name? The one that was working with Potter?
Anna Linares.
Yes. Well, her shirt was full of blood then because she's still wearing the same shirt
Clothes
that she
yes.
clothes when she killed the governor. So that is not something that I was pointing out with the killing of the kid.
Okay,
but is the knife. I think the knife had blood on it, but I don't know if the blood is from the meat that she found the knife with when the wife of Potter was cutting the meat, or it's of killing the wife and the kid. But now my biggest question is, Anna told her, do not believe one single word that Potter will tell you when you confront him.
Yes.
And Potter is telling her, your kid is well alive, and if you kill me, you will never find your kid. So that was for me the biggest part of the whole scene between them, because you could tell that that is what Adelita wanted to hear, but now she's conflicted on what to do about that.
And I gotta say, that was done so deliberately because Anna was being honest with Adelita. I mean, he always has a game. He always has a game plan, and he twists things and he lays things down for you in a way that you think it's gonna play out, and then he pulls the rail out from under the train. So he's got, I think in that scene, he did tell the truth. It was the one time that he told the truth, and now she doesn't know whether to trust him or not. And she knows that in her head. She's like, he could be telling the truth though.
No, you're right. I agree. I mean, I've said it, Taylor, like this whole season, like there's no way the baby's dead. Like,
and he even said, like, what leverage would I have over you if I just killed your baby?
Yeah, and like to me, I never thought that the baby was dead, because he literally had the baby in his arms, safe, having that conversation with Angel, telling him like, we know where it's to be like, dads and stuff. So I really so I never thought the baby's dead. I don't think the baby's dead now. The look on Potter's face when Adelita showed up was like, oh shit, he was caught so by surprise. But I think in the back of his mind, he's like, I have, he's absolutely telling the truth. Like, I have your baby. You want to know where your baby is? Well, you cannot kill me. To answer Sandra, I don't think she killed the wife and son either, because
no, I don't.
Because she didn't even kill Potter's right hand man. What's her name, Taylor? Do you know her name?
Anna.
Oh, it's Anna. Yeah. I'm sorry. She didn't even kill Anna. I thought that scene was a little baffling though. Was how trustful Adelita is of Anna after receiving info on a piece of paper and just like kind of going with it, like instead of maybe like taking her hostage and make sure this is legit or something. I thought that was a little iffy, but I did like the confrontation between Adelita and Potter. I don't know if you guys feel this way too, but I think they should wrap up Potter's storyline definitely next season.
All right, there's a couple comments in here that are like they're confused about it seems like people are not on the same page about what fish or meat the wife was cutting or the flies, and it's like, okay, you guys,
you started it, Sandra. You started it. Everybody now questioning the flies.
Sorry,
yes.
But I'm the detailed person.
Seriously.
I catch stuff that don't people see.
The flies were already in the kitchen. There was a handful of flies, but there was more flies when he came back, when he couldn't find his wife and son, and Adelita was there. So I don't know why that's important to argue about, but just letting you guys know.
We got to know, Taylor. We got to know every detail here,
Okay, go ahead and watch the episode again if the flies are that important.
That's a long episode.
I know.
This was a long episode this time around for sure. So I'm gonna ask the chat, like, what did you guys think about Potter and his lovey-dovey, dialogue with his wife? I was like, it was so odd to see, honestly, for me. It was very it was very interesting. The actor is a great actor though. If you haven't seen Ford vs Ferrari, he does a fantastic job in that movie. You know what? Let's get into some of the chat, shall we?
Yeah.
If you guys have any comments you wanna read off, looks like we got a lot of comments coming in. A lot. Kaba, what's going on? Good morning, Candace. Good morning. Twisted D. We'll get to that in a minute. I missed the look of Potter from SOA. I thought he kind of looks the same, honestly.
He's just
Um,
older, that's all.
yeah, yeah. Potter, Slave Cheeks. I think this is the most awesome, like, freaking username ever. Potter has voice for voice acting or voice over GTA 6. He has a good. He's a very quirky character, and his voice too is like. I like his voice. I was actually thinking that on the episode. Like he has such a unique kind of voice, you know. Do you guys have any comments you guys want to read off?
Let's take a look here. Because we have to go over to the thing just to
Yeah. Well,
scroll.
Sergeant Boyle. I thought Potter's wife was supposed to be blind. I don't remember that little detail coming in.
She had something with her hand.
Oh. And Joe said Potter looked like a hippie. Kind of. He's a crafty man, that guy though. He's definitely not like the gypsies. He's not like an Isaac. I think he takes showers. Border 989 says, Dan, I don't care about Potter at all. Could do without him. I know a lot of people don't care for Potter. Taylor, I think we talked about it too, where
Yeah, I
you just
I
want to
don't
get,
care about him.
you just want the story to kind of end. Okay, so
Oh, I
Sam,
want to get Candace real quick.
yeah, get Candace in.
Candace Batten says, I'm glad that Gabby left, but please don't do this Emily Easy thing. Please move on from that. I agree, Candace. And that's why I hope that they use that the way they wrote their separating and going in separate ways, that they can just be gone for a while.
Yeah.
Because I do not like this will they, won't they thing. I don't care.
We'll get into that one moment. I want to ask you guys, do you Sandra, do you think that the Potter storyline should have ended in season finale? Do you think it should have just ended? Are you're intrigued maybe for season 4? Like it does open a big door for season 4, I guess.
And for me, if there's no Potter, then there's no baby, there's no Adelita. So for me, Potter, as much as we all hate him as a character,
Yeah.
I think he's going to be part of season 4, because now that he has the whole, he opened the conversation to Miguel, telling, hey, you have 45 minutes to leave your house because you're going to get arrested. Something's going to come out of that. And the fact that now that he told Alita that he knows where the baby is, you cannot kill Potter. Potter has to come back. And that's why maybe we didn't see him all season. Because if you have too much of a character that you don't like, you want to get rid of him. But I think they did a perfect thing of keeping him for the season finale and then opening the door for season 4.
Okay, so you're all on board on bringing that storyline to season 4.
I think it had to be addressed. I keep bringing up this point because I feel like it's important. There's 2 seasons that Kurt Sutter was in control of in terms of the script, the plot, everything. Elgin has to now make that transition. You have to remember that season 3 is a transition season now that we have season 4.
Yes.
It's got to be that transition point. So he's got to move some people to the side, and he's got to make some things work. So while going into his own stuff, I mean, it's kind of it's a weird game to play.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting on a writing standpoint on how Elgin's going to tackle this on season 4, because there is a lot of storylines still, going into season 4, and this is definitely one of them. Green Matrix. Oh, Gabby will be back. Taylor, so let's get into that. So
Sure.
Sandra, I don't like we talk about Potter. Like I really dislike Emily as a character. I do not like Emily as a character, but this episode I'm going to ask you, Taylor, you hit on some of it. like the Emily and the Easy thing, Gabby leaving.
Yeah, I got that right. I as soon as it started playing out the way that I predicted, I was like, okay, so it kind of was like that.
I like it
What is
though.
it, like a romance
Yeah.
movie, romantic
I
comedy
gotta
kind of
go. I
thing?
gotta leave you
Yeah.
behind. Yeah.
So meet me at my dad's shop.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what did surprise me though was Felipe was the one to
Yes.
talk her out of it, which
Yes.
I really liked. I liked that he's that real guy. He's not gonna like, you know,
Kept it real. Kept it a
yeah,
hundo.
he did. He kept it real. And yeah, he told her, he's like, hey, look, I lost my wife. This is not something that you want to be in. You should just go. And I think that's gonna cause a little tension between
Oh, for sure.
Easy and Felipe later. Because Easy, when he came back to get her and leave, she was already gone. Like I said, she was going to be gone by the time he got back, and that was going to be it. So, and I think Felipe is reaching the end of his arc. We saw him at the border throwing his wife's ashes on the other side of the border.
That was kind of gross.
I mean, it's just like dirt. It's like if you burn a fire of logs and you're picking it up, it's just ashes.
That's my
Ash is
body,
ash.
Taylor.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay. When I get burnt and I get cremated, I'm gonna say I want specifically Taylor to spread my ashes into Disneyland, Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Into Disneyland, you're gonna get me arrested.
No.
There's this crazy lady throwing ashes in the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
You wouldn't be the first one. I'm telling you. Watch some YouTube videos. I mean, you'll be like Easy. You'll be in jail for like a day, and then you're coming back out. Someone will bail you out.
My life is not written by Elgin James. I can't just do that.
That's a good point. Sandra, actually, you know what? I'm super curious. So, me and Taylor talked about Gabby, Emily, and of course the Easy situation. But what is your thoughts on Gabby? How do you feel about Gabby, and how did you feel about that? Her just because we thought at first she was gonna die, but then
I was surprised by that as well. We thought for this whole season they were playing her up to tragically die and maybe push Easy's character, but I like that she just left.
Yeah, well, Marcus, they showcase Marcus, and I'm like, oh, here we go. It's gonna be, I accidentally shot Gabby, but
exactly. I thought that was gonna happen.
I like how they went a different direction. But Sandra, what is your thoughts on Gabby? What is your thoughts on her just leaving? And did you like the relationship that this whole season had with Easy and Gabby?
So for me, I was 50-50, basically. I liked the way that Gabby did try to help Easy with like stopping to think about like the prison time and like to living on the moment. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like the fact that, again, a girl's gonna like soften the guy's heart because you should not be doing this and then leave the biker club. Like that is been there, done that. I don't like that.
Okay.
I know maybe I'm gonna be the only one thinking that, but if I had to choose between Emily and Gabby, I want Easy with Gabby 3,000%.
Oh, okay. You scared me.
I cannot take any more the Emily Easy. And that scene at his trailer when she starts like blabbling and crying, kissing and everything.
I know.
I truly believe Easy is done with her, but she is not down. And now that she left Miguel, that's what I'm afraid of. Let's get rid of the whole thing. Let's Miguel go after Emily to have his kid and like forget the storyline. That's my opinion.
Well, that scene, I was like, Emily, focus. You came here to like kind of like tell Easy this is important stuff because you gave a lot of information to Easy. That scene was just I really rolled my eyes. I'm like, no, please, Taylor.
Yeah.
Do you think that they're setting up a reunion between Easy and Emily?
I sure hope not, because I don't want that.
I hope not too.
I think a lot of people don't think that they are compatible. I understand the one that got away feeling, but I mean, girl, you're grown now. You have a kid. Just stop.
Yeah. It reminded me of that scene where she kind of just shows up out of nowhere. And it's like, I heard about what happened. It's just like, oh man, Emily, I'm saying that her character should have ended last episode. But we'll see what Elgin James has. Um, we'll see. We're just going to have to see in season 4.
Yeah.
So welcome, chat. I know you guys have a lot of thoughts. Let's get into some of these comments too. Sensational Cinema says he's sick of Adelita, so he doesn't like the storyline that's going on with Adelita. The problem too for me was like Adelita didn't get enough screen time this season.
Yeah.
I hope that changes next season.
Me too.
I agree also. And just wanted to bring a point to what Taylor mentioned before, the transition between Kurt Sutter's writing and Elgin James.
Yeah.
I cannot mention that enough. That was one of the best decisions made for that show. That transition and having Elgin totally changed for me, in my opinion, what was season 1 and season 2 and season 3. That was a deal breaker for me, and I am so happy that it turned out that way.
I really feel like that this season was better than the first 2 seasons. I know there's going to be a lot of people who kind of disagree on this, but I really do feel like the season was in the right direction. Now, I agree with Taylor that it needs to get stronger. The writing needs to get stronger. I think Elgin needs a couple people to help him out on that because I don't know how you guys feel, but I
think he's cutting the fat. Sorry to interrupt you, but I do believe he... Like, okay, we can use Chucky as an example. It would be horrible to just have somebody disappear and then have a one-line dialogue to explain why that person's gone. Oh, Chucky's gone because he fell in love and moved to Ohio. If you did that with Miguel, if you did that with Emily, it's such a jarring experience. So I do believe that he's been slowly cutting the fat off. And that's why I'm hoping that either Miguel doesn't get screen time next season and he's shelved, or Emily too, and maybe they'll be brought back in a later season. I think they really need to fix this. Not fix. I mean, like focus on. Yeah. Okay, so now Adelita is going to try to get her baby back. How is this going to affect Angel and Nails? He's having a baby with Nails. If there's a chance he can get his first son back, I think he would be on board with doing that. Then you have the Mayan Civil War that's still happening. Now we got this cliffhanger. Is Taza? Did Bishop really shoot Taza? Mm-hmm. There's they wrapped up Paulo finally in this season. I think that ran its course. I think that was an appropriate length from the season 2, and Elgin wrapped that up this season. So there's not a lot of loose ends to be left over. He did tighten up some things, and he didn't let it carry for too long.
Well, I absolutely agree. Like, you're right on, like, maybe Miguel doesn't get that. Now that he's kind of gone, he doesn't get as much screen time. Maybe Emily doesn't get much screen time.
Right.
So that's another way of wrapping things up. So, very, very excellent points, Taylor. I will say, though, the execution needs to be better with Elgin.
I'd say growing pains, maybe.
Yeah, I think since it's his first season, kind of like handling the bulk of it. I think, like anything, right? Like anything, we learn from what we did right, what we did wrong, and we get stronger along the way. So I definitely give Elgin a chance next season. But I definitely think like someone like you said Chucky, right? That could have been executed better.
Yeah.
A lot of the things could be you hit on Paulo. I think Paulo's storyline could have been executed better. But we'll get to that in a moment. Manuel says, Emily did say our time has come and gone. That also could be a like
closure.
That could be to the audience saying like, yeah, these two ain't. This is it. This is their last moment.
And actually, that's a really good point for whoever commented that, because I would have forgotten about that if they hadn't brought it up. It did seem like Emily in the dialogue was putting a ribbon on it and putting that away. But it's hard to know for sure. I would have really appreciated if that's what that scene really meant.
Yeah.
is that they are finally done. And I mean, I would give a lot of props to Elgin for that, because it was just it was getting tiring.
That would be great if it's just done like that. And then Manuel said Disney jail, Taylor. Disney jail. Green
That sounds
Matrix.
like the most terrifying place to be.
It probably. I would think it's kind of like Wreck-It Ralph, and the was it the Candy King's jail. Green Matrix, Dan the Man. I thought it was sweet with the ashes, Felipe and the ashes. Oh no, I get it. I get it. Just I don't know. I thought it was kind of like that's your wife. Like you didn't have to hold it. You could have just kind of. I don't know. I don't know. Got to be sympathetic. Yes, I know. I got to be sympathetic. But I'm the president of this channel. I got to be hard.
Can I bring back a comment that has been on
Yes.
my mind since probably like episode
Yes.
4 or 5?
Absolutely. Sandra.
Is doesn't the Suns charter wonder where Montez is?
Okay,
Thank you.
let's get into it. I think a lot of people are going to be really interested in hearing your guys' thoughts. So Sandra, you nailed it. Like Taylor, I thought there would be something with SOA in here to lead to set up for season 4. Nothing.
It's gonna happen in season 4. I do like that. Okay, so he had to make them aware, in like the Mayans. He had to make the Mayans aware that Sons of Anarchy are not happy with them, because they messed up the handling of the gun trade, because they pretty much lost it. So I think he needed a break from SOA, in order to have time to do all of these other storylines. But it's still unresolved. You're right. It's gonna happen. Probably in season 4, we're gonna have Happy sniffing around again, and I think that's what's gonna happen with like whether we find out Taza is alive or dead or not, because Taza is the one who knows where he is.
Well, do you think he's alive or dead, Taylor?
Okay, so my thought was, I don't think he is. I think they left that on a cliffhanger as like to shock you and keep you wondering. They did play what sounded to me like a death song, like a Native American death song after the gunshot.
Yeah. Good pickup. I had that in the back of my mind. Yeah.
So, and I thought that was kind of powerful, especially as you're seeing the Molotov cocktails fly over. You're like, oh my gosh, did Bishop really shoot him? I don't think he did.
What do you think, Sandra?
Well, to be honest, when I heard the shot going off, I'm like, okay, Bishop did kill Taza. But then at the same time, it was the scene with the cocktails coming in. So it could have been anybody with a gun outside of the door. So it could have been like from that and not from inside the temple. So it's like, okay, that is the biggest question. The same question we had at the season finale of season 2. Is that Montez dead or not? Same thing now. What did he kill Taza or not? But to your point, Taylor, if Taza's not there, then nobody knows what happened to Montez.
Right.
So you brought the perfect point, and now I am changing my mind that no, Taza's not dead.
So when Taza sat down and confessed everything to Bishop, you could tell Bishop was really mad at him. I mean, because he even said, so all this stuff about revenge, what you did to Riz, they did bring that up. So now Bishop does know, and it didn't play out the way that I thought it was gonna. I know I was hoping this whole time that, Creeper had suspicions. Maybe Creeper is going to be the one to discover it. But the way that he did it, the way that Elgin wrote it in this way, allowed for us to really develop Taza as a character. And we got to find out this huge secret. And I thought it played out really well for Taza as a character, honestly, to find out that he was in love with Paulo's brother, that the reason why Paulo is such a jackass is because he killed his little brother for being gay, and he would have killed Taza if Taza didn't leave. I mean, it really just set up his character a lot. If he does turn out to be dead, I think I'd be missing out on more of him now that I know a lot about him.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to hold my cross my fingers and hope that he's alive, because I think that there's more to be done there. And I think Bishop has gone through a lot of change himself this season. Mm-hmm. And I just don't think Bishop is ready to put down his vice president like that when there's so much stuff left to be done. Mm-hmm. And we got to eventually get into this whole like Conchi situation too.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Definitely. I got to say, I don't know if I said it on one of our casts or not, but I definitely put down on the comments. I was answering everybody's comments. I called that. I said that one of the scenarios and one of the things I could see maybe happening is if Taza confesses himself, because how the hell are they going to get this? How the hell are they going to know about Riz's death if Taza doesn't confess himself, right? I don't think he's dead. There's 3 scenarios though. Sandra hit it. I said this in my review. It might have been like a sound of a cocktail hitting, so it might have been like misdirect. It might be Bishop. I think Bishop did not shoot Taza. Just kind of, if he did shoot the gun,
he shot by him or something.
Yeah, to kind of like scare him maybe.
And he's going to give him a warning or something.
The comment section said that Bishop might have killed himself. I don't believe that. No. I don't think that's nowhere near. I was like, damn, I was gonna say like, hey, no coffee for Taylor, but honestly, like that would be a waste. I wouldn't like that, especially for Bishop. I think that he doesn't kill Taza because he needs Taza to tell the whole crew. Yes. I think he wants the whole crew to hear.
Yes, thank you for saying that. Yes, I agree with you.
Now before we get to Kachi, and then that's because there's so much to cover in this episode. There's a lot that went down, and it was a longer episode. But before we get to that, Border, I am with Border on this one. He says, wish Paulo and Taza would have had a bigger fight. Not necessarily a bigger fight, but I felt like a little bit better of an execution,
I actually agree with that comment though. I think while I do feel this season is better written, mm-hmm. I think it was slow paced. And it's not to say that things didn't happen, because things did happen. They just didn't happen in terms of like action. Like there was far less choreography in this season than in season 2 or in season 1. If you were just to look at the standalone seasons, mm-hmm. There was hardly any choreography for fight scenes or anything like that. And let's be honest, we do like that stuff. So, and I feel like somebody else mentioned it in the chat as well. Mm-hmm. Hardly anybody riding motorcycles. I mean, let us see those choppers. I want to see you guys riding out there.
That's true.
I think he's trying to stick to a little bit more realism. I mean, how many times do you see them like Sons of Anarchy riding around just shooting everything up and fighting the Niners in the middle of a mm-hmm. urban area, like where there's houses and stuff around, and then nobody gets arrested. I think he's trying to stay more realistic, but I do wish that the Paulo and Taza fight would have been more of a close call scenario.
Yeah.
Like you were on the edge of your seat. I did like that Laura was the one to kill him.
Loved it.
Because it took it out of Taza's hands, but I wish it would have been a lot closer.
What do you think, Sandra? And what do you think about the character Laura? Because I love the conclusion of her doing the deed. Do you think that she should have been the one to kill Paulo?
Definitely. I think it was good for her, and it was good for the whole thing that it was the one. But let me ask you both the question. When Paulo shot before Laura shot him, where mm-hmm. did he shoot? He shoot like on the floor next to his head, not wanting to kill Taza? Because the first shot, I thought he killed, or like he actually hit Taza, but apparently he didn't shoot him, or like he totally missed a shot when he was like at 2 inches from him.
It almost, to me, like it looks like it flew past his ear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I thought. It was like the ear area too. I was kind of expecting like a wound.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't see anything like that.
It looks like it was just a close call.
Mm-hmm. But I do agree that Laura is this. And just to bring back just to one point before, you were talking about like killing Bishop or Taza or whatever. Mm-hmm. Santo Padre Charter is already like missing Coco because he's no longer a member. Mm-hmm. So you don't want to start killing your own member of your charter when you're in the middle. That's going to happen.
Thank you. And yes, when you're already trying to well, that's the thing. They're trying to take down Conchi, and I think we should roll into that scene. Because there's a lot to unpack there in terms of what we can expect for season 4, and not only that, but how easy decided to handle that situation.
I'm gonna read a couple comments that I see right here real quick.
Sure, I'm gonna AFK for like 2 minutes.
Go for it. So Manuel says, Randy, you're right. What if Gabby is pregnant? What do you think about that, Sandra? You think Gabby's pregnant?
Oh.
They always use that storyline. I hope
and
not.
that's exactly what I was going to say. Like, are we gonna go with that same storyline? I mean, I know all stories have to have that part of it, but
Yeah.
I hope not. I don't want to go that route. Like, we already have like pregnants and babies disappear and losing baby. I don't want to go that route. She could be, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I hope not. And you know what? I actually hope that Gabby doesn't come back because it would be like another terror situation. I don't want that.
Exactly.
I just,
And you just hit it down path. We seen there, been there, done that. Why are we going back again to the same storyline? The girl's gonna try to get the boy to be a better man. No. I think the way they did it
yeah,
was perfect, with Felipe being the bad guy and saying, "You know what? Go away. You don't.
yeah. And
The
he's
family's
absolutely right.
broken."
He's absolutely right. Yeah.
The family's broken, and just get away before it gets any deeper.
Orion, Dad, let me buy you a beer. Get you a beer. Hell yeah, give me a Corona. You can have any beer in the house as long as it's Corona. Mike Prince says they need a club vote to before they kill a member. That's what I was thinking. Like, you still need that vote. I don't know, but I don't necessarily. This season's been, and this whole series has been like kind of. It's not the same kind of rules, you know. It's a little bit different, I guess. Especially how this war started. Kind of, it was a little. I don't know. It's been interesting. Sandra, do you think they definitely needed the vote if Taz is going to die or not?
Well, if you're going with the rules, yes.
Yeah.
And basically, it's like, how many times did we go through the Mr. Mayhem with SOA? Like, do we not? Like, you cannot just kill for shits and giggles, basically. Exactly. Sorry for my language.
Oh no, but, you should hear me. Sailor mouth.
But no, I think this season of Mayans was more about storyline than implementing and making sure the rules are all followed when it comes to biker members and laws, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And then Gary said poetic justice with Paulo being killed by his sister. I absolutely love that, you know.
Oh yeah, that's a good, well said.
Yeah, I mean, out of all the new characters that got introduced this season, and then what they did in the finale, she was probably the brightest spot because she was introduced. You got a lot of the backstory with Taza, and then she's the one. You know, she was as much in pain as Taza.
Yeah,
she did it. And
I think that's it for her. I do believe this is totally concluded now, because she was like, this is it. Because he was like, "What are you going to tell the cops?" Because she told him to get out of here, and she's like, "I'm going to say that a dangerous man came back into my life," and that's it. I think that's all closure.
Yeah, I mean, but that is the strong point of the writing that I could see in Elgin. So he has it. That's a good way to introduce somebody and to exit them out. Real quick, Gary said, I love Taza took the cut off of Paulo. Of course, I thought in my mind, cops showing up when he made that line. Paulo does not need that cut on. And then I did like that scene in general, how he just throws it on the table and the gun on the table and said, you're going to want to use that. You know, that was a good scene. I thought that was a good back and forth. I will say though, Bishop was acting like Thanos in season finale. He was on that chair for a very long time, a little bit. Okay, so, all right, Taylor, let's get into it. So this is a big one. This is the Civil War. Let's talk about the Civil War and how, we still got a little bit. Like, it looks like it's leading into season 4, but the main question I had to ask you guys is, what did you think about the Conchi's son going on a little road trip with Daddy? The whole plan to bomb the garage, and just how that whole scene worked for you guys, and how the Civil War is working for you guys.
Well, I gotta say that scene, there was like a little Reyes brothers dynamic happening there in the moments before setting up the bomb. I like how Gilly's the explosives guy.
I love Gilly in this episode. I'm not gonna
know. So when they realized that the boy was there, Angel was like, "What do you mean? What are we gonna do? Well, I'm not killing a kid today." Like, yeah. That was not on his agenda when he woke up this morning. So
exactly. And then he took a. It was interesting. He took now that you mentioned about taking a piss, I got to take a piss in this. I was thinking of Dwight from The Office like the whole time. I'm sorry, guys. It was a little bit.
I gotta say, I'm jealous that guys have that ability because that is so convenient.
I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure anybody who does that is not going to be perfect. There's no perfect aim on that.
Oh, well, as close as you can get. Hey, the Gatorade has the wide mouth though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So there you go.
There you go.
Anyway, we can stop talking about peanut bottles.
We're way off topic here. They're like, whoa, what did this turn out to be? Go for it.
It was actually kind of crazy. Like, okay, so Easy was like, I need to get this done and end this if I'm going to be able to leave with Gabby. You know what I mean? So there was like that side of him. And at the same time, it kind of made me think about how the Irish in Sons of Anarchy were willing to just blow up the whole clubhouse with everybody, not just the actual MC members, but with their girlfriends, their wives, their children, like everybody in there. They were all just, they don't care, you know? So for Easy to take that kind of like mentality, like if we just let this little kid get in the way, we're going to miss our chance. So I actually saw like a real ruthless person there for a second.
They really pointed that out this episode.
Yeah.
Really pointed it out. Sandra, what'd you think?
It was actually funny to see the reverse between Easy and Angel, that Angel's the one, we're not killing a kid today, and Easy, let's do it, because usually it would be the opposite. Angel's like, I don't care about nothing, let's do it. So that was fun to see that interaction in that dynamic.
Car. Yeah, and I do like, okay, so they did explain that the kid survived, and they're like, oh yeah, it's confirmed, like Conchi's dead when they got back to the clubhouse. But before that, when the explosion went off, Gilly comes spinning out like the getaway driver, and I gotta say, he was on it.
Gilly was on it this episode.
He was on it this episode.
On it. That scene, I said in my review, dude, Angel was like a Tony Montana when like they have to, kill the president or whatever, and like, he had his kid with them. We're not fucking killing kids today. No, you didn't tell me about a kid. Like, he doesn't even go with it, and then it ends up being his downfall and his death. Maybe let me ask you guys this: does Angel have a different mentality, knowing in that scenario, if he didn't know that he was having a baby?
Definitely.
Even if he wasn't currently having a baby, I think he would have already arrived at that conclusion before, because his son with Adelita, he's already lost his son. I mean, now he's going to have one with Nails, maybe, or it could be a little girl. We don't know.
Yeah.
But
either. Yeah.
So I just think, Angel he's got some lines in the sand. They're not a lot, but they're there.
Yeah, and I'm very happy that Angel said, "Nah, we're not doing this." Like there was no hesitation. There was like, we're not killing a kid. Now I'm gonna say, how the hell did Conchi and the kid survive?
Thank you, because when we see Conchi, when we see Conchi, he doesn't even have a bruise.
No,
how did he survive?
No burn marks.
You cannot survive an explosion without a cut or a bruise or nothing. When we saw him, he was perfectly fine. I'm like,
my husband looked at me and he was like,
what?
They were in an auto shop. They were surrounded by shrapnel. What would have been shrapnel?
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, that's perfect detail right there. Oh, we're going to have to bring your husband on here.
You don't want to. He's so hard on the show.
That was one of the things where I was just baffled by. I was like, did the makeup artist not show up today? or something. Especially with the kid, like, uh, you don't want to see kids, dying in episodes. But hell, well, you haven't seen it, Taylor, but Invincible, they show you that brutality there, and that's an animated show. I'm not saying
Yeah,
show it, but the consequences should have been there.
I just don't understand how conveniently he survived
Yeah.
and all the other ones in the garage died, or a lot of them died, because at the end that's when they reveal it. They revealed it at the end when he's sitting, like, in the back of the pickup, and they're nailing the wall. And somebody had a comment here about the wall.
Uh, where is
I
it?
hate having to scroll on the other thing.
Oh, is it really that bad?
But
Let's see,
also,
where are you?
just while you're looking at it, the thing that also, again, me and my details, is that when the bomb exploded, you
Mm-hmm.
saw the fire coming out of the window of where
Yeah.
Conche and the kid were. So there
Yeah.
is no way that they can get out of there without a bruise when you saw the fire coming out of
Yes.
that same
Oh
window.
yeah, they would have been like severely burned and stuff. And I mean,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes.
so if there's going to be a time where we sit here and we nitpick on unrealistic circumstances, this is a very unrealistic circumstance right here.
Yes, it is.
And I did find that comment. It's from Randy. He
Oh,
says,
what
"What's
did
up
Randy
with
say?
the wall around the clubhouse? That was never there. It did not look strong." No, that wall was there from episode 1, season 1. That has always been there, Randy.
I will say the thing that bugged me though, honestly, was just the thought of like they put this in like because they needed a moral dilemma, is they just had the kid in there. Like, why would Conchi bring his kid to a meeting? You know, like the babysitter really wasn't there today, huh? I was very like, they really put that in there just to really heighten up the drama. Maybe and then you see that they didn't have any, there was no kind of consequences after, like no burn marks or anything like that. It's just kind
It
of,
felt weird.
it
Well,
was very
it
weird.
did shock me when so we're at the end scene of the finale and they're banging on the door and Conchi's alive. I'm just like,
Well, hold up, Taylor, hold up. So before that though, like Conchi shows up
oh
with the
yes, we can
meeting.
talk about that scene. Yeah.
The Diaz, we've got confirmation he's alive. They're all, all the charters are together. Ibarra's there saying Bishop is one king, you know. And then that's when we get introduced again to Conchi. Then we find out he's alive.
Yeah,
I
he
gotta ask,
walks in and
Ibarra's dead.
yeah, he
Ibarra.
pops Ibarra. That was kind of crazy. But yeah, so when it was revealed that he was alive, at that point I was just like, how? Like, I don't understand.
So where was that? Let me ask you guys this, because who was it? I think it was Ibarra that got confirmation that Conchi's dead. Who gave him that confirmation? Was it maybe a betrayal, or was it the news? Like,
See, that's where that part of the episode, well, I should say this particular writing of this section of the episode was weak for me.
yeah, that was a those were questions I that was in my mind. So what did you guys think about Ibarra biting the bullet? I mean, that to me was probably the highlight of the episode. I really it sucks, man. I really like that character and I really like the actor. So yeah, that was definitely a, oh shit, yeah, it's gonna happen. After he turned around, and Diaz still has a grudge against Bishop. What'd you guys think about that death? I'll go
That
Sandra
was
first.
that was hard. Because you know what, you then realize that of all the charters and all the president, they were all playing against Ibarra, and they were going to be make him like the one that's gonna get the bullet. Like they were playing all against Ibarra and Bishop, literally, because Ibarra was all in 100%, but the rest of them they were not.
Mm-hmm.
And they played the game perfectly well with like, okay, we made a decision, we're all good to go. And then he turned around and there's Conche, and bang, you're gone. So that just proved to me that um, there is like definitely all the charters being together and playing the game and making sure that they are playing the good game to be able to destroy Santo Padre, and which brought the whole war at the end.
Hmm.
But I think that's where the knowledge and the experience of Marcus will come into effect in season 4.
I need more Marcus. What do you think, Taylor? Were you sad? Did you shed a tear?
I was surprised when the execution part came. I mean,
Mhm.
I was like, I was really, I was liking him a lot, Ibarra as a character, because, you know, I mean, he's like a side character, but he's still an important part of the mind structure. And he's had like a huge role in assisting Santo Padre and Bishop's goal of becoming the One King. So I was saddened to see him go. His look is so unique. I mean, he
Yeah.
just stands out immediately on screen. But I'm happy that that Mike was able to show up and
Yeah.
do that
Mike.
part for the show, Mike Beltran. So
It's funny that one of the comments said that like, would it be the same? Would you feel the same if that beard was gone? You know, because he does have such a unique look.
I
But
think he was probably the only person who can pull that off too. You know, there's not many people who can pull a look off like that. He's just got the bone structure and like everything for it. He's got the build.
I might
It
pull that
works.
off. I could probably. I could try. I could try. I mean, I'm gonna be stoic for Halloween, so I gotta try, right? So let's get into. I love this comic because this comic goes into one of the an awesome cliffhanger, but then one of the little problems I had with it too. But Manuel says, Dan, Game of Thrones, easy, hold the door. So Sandra, what do you think about that cliffhanger at the season finale, and then we'll go into Taylor's thoughts on there.
Well, for me, that final scene was what was supposed to be brought up since season 1, that Easy is the main character. He's the one that's going to be saving the club. So that end picture is like, okay, Easy, you are now going to be the main person and you're going to be the one finding the solution on this war. Because I know for me, season 1, season 2, we didn't see the main character of Easy. He didn't portray it as a leader, but now that picture in this season brought him up more to be that person that they're going to have to be the leader without having the patch, basically.
Mm. Your thoughts, Taylor?
It was a very cinematic way of filming that episode, especially
Absolutely.
when not the episode, that scene,
Mm-hmm.
because you go right from the gunshot and the Native American song to the Molotov cocktails being thrown over, and then Easy slowly stands up and he's walking towards the gate, and you can hear, well, the camera like slowly panned up over the wall, and you see what's on the other side, and it was, I think, wonderfully shot. I think it was a good way to conclude the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think what they need to do now is really drive Easy more into club relations. I want to see in season 4, I mean, Easy sitting at this table now with everybody. I want to see more club decisions. I want to see the hard talk that's going to happen. But more importantly, I don't want a time jump, so to speak. I
Yeah.
need to know what happens in the like next 5 minutes after that cut for the finale episode. I need that episode 1 of season 4 to pick right up there. I need this war right out of the gate. I need to know what's going to happen, because you can't just show everyone at the gate like that. And then it's like, oh, well, 2 weeks ago, they banged up our door and we had to get it fixed. So it was weird.
Yeah. So the shot was great. The music was great. Like, you're right. It was like a cinema, like a very well choreographed shot look to it. But I was thinking the whole time, like, does Easy know he has plot armor? Because one of those cocktails could really hit him, and he's walking, and he's about to pull that gun out, and he's not like, saying shit. We need to, like, he's not scrambling, and I think Easy's gonna be the one that comes up with the plan, maybe to hightail out of there, because there's a lot of Mayans going after their
I
ass.
want to see like him kind of organizing everyone. What is happening right now is essentially a siege. They're barricaded inside the clubhouse,
Yeah.
and they don't have that much farther to go. Because if you guys remember the layout of the junkyard, so the junkyard is a rather large property. It's got an exterior fence that encases the junkyard,
Mm-hmm.
and as you go into the front gate of the scrapyard, there's a front office. There's the machinery that they use to crush up vehicles and stuff like that. And as you continue down the main road, then you come to the secondary gate, and that's the greenish kind of gate with the masts on it. That's the inner gate towards the clubhouse. So you can't go any further than that. That's the end point. They've already got it that far. They're boxed in. So I need to see this siege fight play out, and I need to know how they're going to defend themselves.
Yeah, man, you got the blueprints over there, don't you?
I sure do, man. I got this satellite imaging up, and I'm zooming
Google
in.
Maps. Yeah, that's great. I did not know any of that. That's great. You're right though. I will say you're right too. That now that Gabby is out of the way, I think now you have Easy really getting, because he even said like anything for the club. Like this was his last chance to have some normalcy. This is it. That's it. He's in it. He is going to do whatever is necessary, and we saw that ruthlessness throughout this episode that he has, and he told his dad he has that in him. So I think we'll see definitely that more in season 4. So we got kind of one more storyline to wrap up, and this is honestly actually this is the same way how this cast is going, how I felt watching the episode, and that was like, oh yeah, I forgot we have Coco storyline.
Yeah.
So we had to touch upon Coco. Season finale, we said that we need to wait till see if there was a payoff on the storyline. A lot of people, I'm surprised a lot of people barely heard about Isaac's SOA tattoo on his rib cage. Yes, he does have an SOA tattoo. That doesn't get presented though. It's never
they
come
don't
into play.
really force it on you.
Yeah.
I caught it after seeing several scenes with his shirt off. Did I finally catch it? And because they don't make a point to focus on it, really.
Yeah, and it's really presented in this episode, especially with a lot of his movements that he does in this episode. And you really get that wide shot of him a lot more. So I'm gonna go with Sandra, then I'm gonna go to Taylor. Was Coco's storyline, was there a good payoff with it, and what did you think about the whole situation with him in the season finale and with Letitia and Gilly?
I personally, again, didn't like what they did with Coco this year.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that we were getting to know him with his family and everything and having a daughter and everything, and then we completely cast him out for the whole season, and I did not like that. Also, another decision, like, don't they have to vote when they want somebody out of the club? Like,
we didn't even see the vote.
Mm-mm.
They didn't
there
even
was no
see
vote.
that.
No,
Yeah.
they just decided, oh, he's out. Really? Why? So I didn't like that storyline whatsoever, but I did like how Letty was fighting, because we know she hates him and she tells him to F off, blah, blah, blah. But
Mhm.
deep down inside, she loves her dad and she
Oh,
wants the best for him. And for her to go and get Gilly, who we thought, you know what? I lost a brother, like he lost the Reyes brothers to ladies, while he lost Coco for drugs. And seeing him listening to Letty and then decide, you know what, I have to go get him. I like that part, but I don't know what's the payoff of that whole storyline at the end of the day. That's my opinion.
So for me, I liked some parts of it, but I didn't like a lot of the other parts. So I thought that it really showed how Coco was struggling to not become his mom, and it showed that he felt like he lost a piece of himself when he lost his vision. He's the sniper. You guys got to remember, he's the sniper of the group.
Mhm.
So he has like dead shot capabilities, and like he
Smith.
kind of started to feel like he lost that special part of him, and in a sense he felt like he had already lost his spot in the club himself. before they even decided to remove him. He felt like he lost his spot in the club. And I did like that Letty was on him. I wish that they would have maybe cut it down a little bit. I felt like, I know some people think that it was like a rush storyline, but I just think that it could have been condensed a little bit. I didn't like, oh, go steal me some keys of heroin. I just kept getting reminded of Juice there and Juice's manipulation. There could have been a little bit more uniqueness there. I'm glad that Gilly came back and that Letty ran off and went to grab him, and he came back, which we were kind of thinking. We thought he was either going to die there, or Letty was going to go and go to the Mayans and get help. It wasn't my favorite character arc, but I'm hoping that he can do something better in season 4. I don't know how I feel about him being in a relationship with Hope, because it seems like now he really does care about her. So we'll have to see where that goes. If they can get clean together in season 4, and maybe they've got like maybe their character arcs turn completely around because they get clean. They're living with Letty. You know, they've got this like kind of like a little family, their own broken and glued back together of sort of a family dynamic going. So we'll see what happens there. But I think it could have been done just a little bit differently. I don't know how I feel about Gilly being able to go in there, one guy, and everyone was just like, okay, we're cool that you just shot Isaac.
Exactly,
hi.
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, because Hope says, they'll kill you if you take me. They'll kill you anyway, right there. Like,
why? What's so special about you? Like,
yeah, like why wouldn't they automatically murder them after they're starting to leave? Because they outnumber them. They probably have more guns on them. And as much as Gilly is a badass, he was great in this episode. I was so baffled by that. The heroin thing never really comes back to play, like I guess it should have. I guess maybe it was just there to get that threat from Isaac to Coco. My final conclusion is I don't think either the storyline should have been shortened, like for at least half a season, or they shouldn't have gone this route. I don't think it really fits the tone of what they were trying to present. I think they should have done something different for Coco. I think you could do it later on. I think it was just like timing wise, this wasn't the best thing to do this season.
I think what's harder for us to digest is the fact that while this was going on for the whole season, the club was just, oh, where is he? Well, I guess he's not here. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, back to this war that we're starting.
Yeah.
Like no one, I just felt like those two elements did not blend together very well.
No, it didn't. And it would have been, I think it would have been just better if Coco was in this thing, because it was him and Riz that kind of like they wanted to retaliate because payback for what happened to him and his eye, and then also, to Riz. So I just felt like in my conclusion, I thought it wasn't warranted. It doesn't really pay off. I've seen this handled so much better. But it is what it is. So hopefully, Coco gets back at it in season 4, like you said, cleaned up. Sandra, is Isaac alive, or is he dead?
I hope he's dead, because I don't want to go into season 4 with that still storyline. I want that storyline to be completely ended,
yes.
but I don't think he is dead. And I think probably that's just what I'm thinking with seeing that SOA tattoo so much and being like so bring it up, and the fact that we still have an SOA storyline with Montez. Maybe those two will have something to do with each other.
I love that so much. That's such a good connection.
Because you can, that for me, that needs to still being brought up, and that's why I'm saying we saw it very, very clear, like you said, Taylor, and then we saw it to like 17 million vision of like his body and everything. That was something that we had to catch on. So that plus Montez, I think that's going to be part of season 4.
Yeah, so you think that those two elements are going to mold themselves together, and I could see that happening. Actually, that's a really good. That's a good connection, Sandra.
I mean, why would they like have the tattoo on him, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Why would they
Yeah.
have? Why like it just isn't.
That's a
I
good point.
I think he's still alive because I think he does have more to the
I
story.
think he's still alive. He kind of got shot in the side of his neck. I don't think
Yeah,
it would be too hard
it's
to believe that he could get get to the hospital and have that fixed. I mean, I've seen people, like real life people, get shot in the neck and live, depending on where you're hit. But
yeah, like Butterfly was holding down on that neck. Maybe he knows
yeah.
a little something. I don't know.
Mm.
How weird was the scene though? With I thought this scene this season has been with scenes that gone way too long. What
Yeah.
did you guys think about the scene where Coco was tied up and he's just like taunting him with the gun?
I'm going to be honest with you. I was scared that we were going to get a rape scene.
It always seems that way, doesn't it? It always
I
seems
was
like
really
he's gonna get
scared.
raped.
I
Yeah,
was like, I really don't want to sit here and watch Coco get raped. I really don't. And I was really relieved that that didn't happen because I don't know if I could have stomached that.
yeah. I
I
don't go, Sandra. Yeah,
I agree with you, Taylor. It was something like that. I mean, I don't know if somebody was high, if that scene made more sense being high, watching it
yeah.
high, than being sober and watching it. But
I think it would
uh,
make it worse.
I don't know. But that scene, I was getting like stoned just watching it. But yes, I agree. I think they, especially the way Isaac was been like talking and the way he has been lately in the couple of episodes, I was afraid that was going to happen and glad it didn't. But that scene could have been shortened at least by 2 minutes and a half.
Mark makes a good comment because I did hear this from other commenters too. They said that Isaac was in SOA. Someone said earlier Isaac was on the patch over episode of SOA, but had longer hair. I don't remember that. I don't recall that. I don't. I don't even know if it's the same actor who
Let me
plays
pull it
Isaac.
up.
Yeah. So they said that he was in the SOA series. So that'd be definitely a trip on that one. I mean, how do you like? How do you kill? For me, if they kill off Isaac like this, like why? Like it's another thing. Like why really bring him in? Because I really feel like he should have more to that story, right? And
Well,
then
if he was a patch over, then maybe that's how we're gonna find out in season 4 the backstory. Because without any storyline and just a tattoo, we can assume and being under assumption of a lot of stuff. But I think that could be brought up into season 4 on how, and that is story behind it.
Rich says Isaac is dead. If not, then super fake, even though it's a fake show. But come on. Well, the shot that he had was kind of like the Taza shot, where I could see him surviving it. If that shot with Ibarra, he's good as dead. But I could see Isaac surviving. I've seen stuff like that on shows, and it's whether you believe it or not, I thought I thought it's fine if he does live. Honestly.
Well, if Paulo can miss Taza at 2 inches from him, I think Gilly could have
Hey,
missed Isaac at 6 or like whatever feet away he was.
it's that Greedo shot. It's that Greedo shot from Star Wars. Han shot first, you know. Okay, so Taylor, did we get any information on that one? And it looks like Mark said that Isaac
I'm
does
still
have
confirming.
SS on the neck. He has an SS tat. Isaac has a bunch of tats, man.
I'm not seeing his credits. Like the actor,
Yeah.
his name is J.R. Byrne.
Mhm.
Born. If he is in there, then he's probably uncredited, which is why I can't find it.
Or it could have been a different actor. I think
Or it could have been a different actor.
Yeah, they
Which,
could have
and
recast
if
it.
they use a different actor, then I would have that would make it more difficult for me to connect those two together. Like if he was the same actor, then I would definitely agree with those connecting elements. But if it's a different actor, I don't know. I just have a harder time connecting that to that scene. But the fact that he's got the tattoo, I think none of us can disagree with the fact that he's got some connection. Obviously, he's an ex-member. We're not disagreeing on that point.
Yeah, I just don't. I hope they say something about it because like why bring it in, you know?
Green Matrix says, "Come on, Taylor. They can't show that on TV. They showed Gemma getting raped. So I don't know
I guess that was the you could say the golden age of TV where there's a little bit more
Maybe.
you could show. But then
I
again,
don't know. It's like that's kind of crazy.
the Walking Dead, they were supposed to have this crazy rape scene with Michonne, and it got switched to Maggie, but they didn't do that because well, that's AMC. So yeah, the censors don't want to. The censors, they want to try to make it as clean as possible without being clean. I think we hit all the points, right? I think we hit all the points of this episode. I guess the one point I would have to bring out real quick before we get into the comment section is guys, Hank and Creeper had nothing in this episode. Nothing.
No, okay, if we're gonna go down that road, my boy Creeper, I really need them to do something with him next season. I mean, in this episode, they didn't really do anything. Hank is upset about the whole Steve thing. We saw that.
Rightfully so.
But Hank, he got his little bit of a spotlight. I gotta say that. Gilly got more of a spotlight. They need to do something with Creeper. I need to see something with him because right now he's the kind of one on the outs a little bit. And a lot of the time, I'll be honest with you, I forget about him.
Oh, yeah. Until he starts creeping by.
Yeah.
What do you think, Sandra?
Literally creeping by.
Yeah,
I agree.
what a creep.
They need to do more. He's always being the one being caught. Like, okay, you're gonna be in the tunnel, keeping an eye on the Aryan keys. Oh, you're gonna be the one that's gonna be brought up to jail there was the shooting at the motel. Like, there's so much. They need to do something with Creeper because he is a character that you can develop. For sure.
He is. And Joseph Raymond, he's got this like a very unique look as well. When I got to say, I do like the casting for the Santo Padre Mayans. I do, because you get all these guys lined up, and just if you've never seen the episodes and if you've never heard the characters or seen the characters do anything, just if you lined them up and looked at these guys, you can almost in your head imagine their little types. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like what they're about just by how these guys look. And he's got this very unique look with like the goatee and being clean shaven, the bald. And then he's got that big tattoo on his neck right there. I mean, I really want them to do something with him. I'm waiting hungrily and patiently to see what that is. But it's got to be soon because season 4, every time we get a renewal, we're excited about it, right? But you never know is this the last season,
Yeah, and I think we talked about this. I think you might agree with me that it's a better job like showcasing the Mayans members than maybe first and second season. But it is you need more. You need a little bit more next in season 4. And I think Elgin did say that he wants to explore more of these characters. So hopefully that happens,
And let me ask you this, Sandra. So with the way that they had Miguel get on a helicopter and leave, and Emily running off to her sister's house with their son, would you prefer to see them sit out the entire season 4, or would you have them come back for like only a couple things, so that we can get more time for these Mayans characters?
Definitely. We don't need Emily. We don't need Cristobal. We don't need Miguel. We don't need any of them. They are no longer relevant right now for the war that's coming up. And that is opening up for more Mayan storyline and development character. We don't need that extra. Taylor, remember, we talked about that multiple times in season 1, season 2, that we want more Mayans, less Galindo story. And I think that's the way they should be going in season 4.
So if it happened that way, it would play out in my head. This is how I imagine it. So if we shelf Emily and Miguel for season 4, maybe they something is mentioned about them here and there to make sense in the story, but let's shelf them. So now Adelita's confronted Potter, and we're gonna have this dance of, is she gonna get her baby back? Is she not gonna get her baby back? So we know Potter. So we know Potter is entering season 4. We know that Adelita's gonna try to maybe get her baby back in season 4. If that's happening, so while Angel and the club are still dealing with this Civil War thing, is he going to find out? Is Potter going to reach out to Angel? Like we've been suspecting for a whole season, you know, the way that it ended in season 2 with him sending him a picture of his baby. Is Potter going to now throw Angel another photo or some kind of line and draw Angel back in? That's what I'm thinking.
I don't. It's kind of hard because right now it's so focused on Adelita and Potter, and Adelita is adamant not to have Angel involved at all.
There's a reason Potter gave him a warning. There's a reason that Potter wants to have the Reyes brothers still, because he lost control of Easy, but now he still has something over Angel though. And I think that he's got a plan for why he gave Miguel the warning.
Yeah.
And I just don't know what it is yet.
Here's the thing though, Taylor, is that as much as I want the storylines, like especially Emily and Miguel and the Galindo thing to go away, there's still one major thing that they didn't resolve. And that's the truth about Felipe being his dad, the Reyes brothers finding out that they're brothers. Like that plot is still there. I don't know how they're gonna solve it, and I don't know how they're gonna do all that. Maybe they just wait for, when they get confirmation that maybe this is just the overall end of the series.
Yeah, who knows? And maybe it's one of those things that that Elgin just decides to leave up to us to either believe that they're related or not. Like
I don't think they'd do that. I honestly
see, that's the thing. I think you guys were brought up that the fact that they might just let it go. I agree. But that one scene when Miguel goes and talks to Felipe, that scene at the meat shop, that has to bring you somewhere somehow, because now there's a conversation and Miguel knows what happened. But that idea that they're all brothers has to come up. You cannot just forget about it. And especially when Miguel was talking to Marcus and he says, "Are you gonna kill Easy for me?"
Yeah.
Not knowing that Easy is his brother, that's something that if they're not bringing it up, that's something that they would miss, because I think there's something in there that could be brought up as a storyline.
I would prefer they let it go, because when that stuff when Dita was bringing that stuff up, I was like, oh my God, come on.
Yeah.
I didn't care for that little droplet to be, released out there. I didn't care for that connection. I don't like to think that they're secret brothers and stuff like that. So I would prefer that they just let it go, and it could be chalked up to Dita maybe thinking in her wanting to believe that Miguel is Felipe's son because she loves Felipe, and maybe it just happens to be her cartel husband's son after all. Maybe in her own lust and desire to have Felipe to herself, she wanted to believe that was Felipe's son. Who knows? But I just would prefer if they just don't. I don't want to go there.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay.
I'm going to say that season 4, you're going to get a scene with Miguel and Felipe, and the truth is going to come out. I think Felipe is there for season 4 he is here to tell the truth, to give the full truth. And I think season 4, even though we don't want Miguel involved, he's still going to be involved some way. And I think that that truth is going to come out. And I think Miguel, he's going to be running, but then he's going to be kind of like somehow coming back and secretly showing up where Felipe is.
Let me ask you guys this, since you said that, Dan. Mm-hmm. I would like to have Miguel shelved, but let's just think about what is there even for his character right now. His cartel operations are falling apart. Mm-hmm. Adelita assassinated the governor, who was kind of like a partner to him. Not when I'm not talking about the bed partner thing, but business partners for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's lost his business dealings with the Mayans because they're busy fighting each other. Uh-huh. The border's closed, so he can't even move any of his own heroin right now. The Lobo Sonora new generation are moving in to take his territory. I mean, he and his wife just left him. Like, what is there left for him now? And Marcus and Nestor, they've bounced. What is there even left for Miguel now?
I think go for it,
the,
Sandra.
the only thing that's left is his son.
Yeah,
That's the
That's a good
only
point.
thing that
That's a good
has
point.
that Miguel has right now is his son. If he wants to fight for his son, and to be honest, I'm okay with them coming back, but being a short story. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you come back, you get your kid, blah blah blah. Okay, let's go move on. I don't want a 10 spread long storyline.
I do
That would
say
be
that
my thing. That
I'm a little disappointed when we were getting ready for like Mayans season 1 to air, and there was hype about the filming and production and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and there was information about the cast coming out. Uh, and then season 1 touched on it until the end of the first season, as Miguel being this bad guy. And I was like, all right, this is interesting. I'm seeing some connecting pieces from season 4 of Sons of Anarchy. This makes sense. So now the cartel leader's son is in charge of the cartel. We'll see where this goes. I liked him better as a villain. I liked his character better in season 1. And I've been not liking his character ever since they became allies, because it doesn't work. That allyship doesn't work. He needs to be the top dog and trying to control the Mayans, and the Mayans hating him for that. I just don't think it works as him being nice, and it's made his character really boring for me.
Well, that's why I'm super excited for the banker, El Paquera. Like, I think he's gonna come in and like Paulo's plan. He's gonna swoop all this territory, right? And I think he's a little bit. He's very flamboyant and energetic, but he's the ruthless type. He's the guy that's gonna drown Emily. He wouldn't hesitate on that. So I'm looking forward to this guy in season. I think they set him up on this season to bring him. Really, he's the true big kind of villain coming into season 4. But of course, you have the Civil War and all that stuff. Now, going back to the question about Miguel, I think Miguel. That's a great observation, Sandra. His son, of course. Yeah, I thought maybe just overall revenge and scorn, just because he just wants to he'd be pissed about how everything went down, and he wants some crack at all the people who wronged him. That's my idea on that one. So, but I hope the main topic is I hope that they do shine more on these on Creeper. I think we need more. They did a better job this season, but I just wanted a little bit more on these guys, especially Creeper, like you said, because he does. All of them have a look. All of them. You just see them all together, and you're just like, you like the look. This season you started to like more of the personality. I thought it was very surprising with Hank. Gilly had some good stuff this season. Maybe a little bit better writing on Angel. He had the best dialogue, I thought, best lines, but I think he could have had a better story. So I would like to see where they take Angel next season. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens, what Elgin does, and we'll see how a lot of the setup is going into season 4. Now I want to get into the comments. Let's get into the comments, and then we're going to end this stream. I know you guys have a lot of questions, a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings about this. So Sandra and Taylor, if you see anything you want to, call out, or comments you want to say, go right ahead. Mike says, Gilly, my dog, he went back for his boy. He did. He went Call of Duty on that. Let's see. Jermaine Trevino said the actor of Creeper was on a few episodes of Dr. Phil. I don't know if y'all noticed that. I did not know that at all. I know the cast did a Family Feud episode too.
Yeah, Joseph has been involved in a lot of kids, like getting kids off the streets and like out of gang lifestyles. He's been using his own life experiences and his own, change, how he changed his life story to make a difference in other kids' lives. So,
Mr. Mayam said Miguel is such a terrible villain. The frustration on what could have been with Miguel. I think he's just a terrible cartel boss. But they did make him a little bit more human, I guess. Especially, I mean, that's why he didn't kill Emily. He does have a human side to him. Let's see. Adelita is after Miguel too. Don't leave that out. That's from Green Matrix. Definitely, she's definitely focused on the baby now. I don't think she really cares about Miguel at this point. Mehmet loves peace. How much have I missed? We're pretty much almost at the end of the stream, man. But remember, this will be uploaded onto the channel, so you guys can go back and watch from the beginning to end. And Jermaine says more Letty next season. I think we touched upon that, Taylor, too, that we needed a little bit more Letty.
Yeah, I mean, we do try to take into consideration that when this season was filmed, there was a lot of COVID restrictions going on in terms of filming. This season, the production was also delayed, which meant that there was probably a lot of scheduling overlap for some of these actors. And I wouldn't be surprised if Letty's, the actress's schedule got overlapped. I know that she was doing Party of Five, and she also did a Nicolas Cage movie as well. She was in there, so I wouldn't be surprised if her schedule was just a little tight. But yes, more Letty, please.
Nicolas Cage, he's doing all over. He's taking all the roles, right? He's taking all those offers. What's funny is Sensational Cinema says, I didn't really notice this, but Miguel and Felipe, will they ever say dad and son to each other?
Nah.
I didn't notice that they don't say dad.
This isn't Days of Our Lives.
It's I like to think it's the Passion or whatever it's called, that one soap opera. Diego Martinez, Bishop needs to pull a Peaky Blinders and walk up and shoot Conchi right in the head in front of everyone. You know what that reminds me too? That reminds me of Gangsta with Denzel Washington and Idris Elba, and he just straight up goes up to him and just shoots him right in the head. Peaky Blinders, I hear that's a great show. I should get into that. Hey, what's up, Iron Baron? Welcome in. Are they never gonna explain the SOA tattoos on Isaac's body? We talked about that. I mean, how can they not, right? And Sandra made a great point of the connection with Isaac, and maybe leading into next season.
Sergeant, I think it's Sergeant Bowl. Do you think season 4 will air this fall or next spring? It's set to air in 2022.
Okay.
I believe is what I read. So yeah, I don't believe we're gonna get it until maybe I would think they're gonna air it next fall. They would have a lot of time to have a lot of their filming covered, especially if, like I said, schedules, if they're overlapping, then they can get the actors in when they're ready and available to film certain scenes. So yeah, definitely not until next year. And I would suspect they're going to try to go back into their September schedule, because hopefully in another year from now, production won't have to be so restricted, so they can continue their September airing, because FX really prefers them to have that time slot. And I don't think FX wants to give up that time slot to anything other than FX. I'm not FX at Mayans.
Yeah, we discussed all that too, about the scheduling and stuff. Go for it, Sandra.
Yeah, JD Pardo did confirm that the filming of season 4 will start this fall.
Okay. Sandra, this is a question to you. So Chris J, if Taza is dead, will Easy be the new VP?
I don't ever want to see Easy be vice president or president. I would be okay if he took a title eventually, but I don't want to see him be a vice president or a president.
I still think he's not ready. What do you think, Sandra?
Ditto. I don't want that. No. Let him be. Let's just say let him be a silent leader.
Yeah. And I think Hank would take over that, in my opinion.
Yeah, if it came down to it. I think there's more to write still with these characters, and for these characters to do before we start changing up the who's on what rung of the ladder in the club.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just bring this little part of storyline that is, again, in my head, in my details, is that, do you think Hank and Angel
Oh yeah,
will
thank you.
ever talk about
Thank you. Yeah.
Nails being pregnant, because we know that Hanks really felt for Nails and he wanted to like be like the father figure for the baby because she's by herself, and then Angel swooped in and now Hank is back to be alone. But that's going to be a very good story if Adelita does find her
The
baby
baby.
with Angel
Hmm.
and she comes back. What's going to happen then? And I want to know if Hank and Angel will actually have that conversation.
I seriously don't know what they were thinking. Like, where are you going with this, Elgin? Because I'm ready to
Thank you,
figure it out.
Taylor.
Where are
Thank
you
you.
going with this,
I,
bro?
I was like, what is Taylor gonna say right now? Because that was the one thing I was like,
What are you
why?
doing?
What are we? Why do we need this?
What is
Why?
this?
Why? I did notice though when Angel was banging nails, he did look at the dresser,
Yeah,
and there was like the ring, and he was
was
thinking of
there. He's thinking
Adelita.
about
He's
Adelita.
not in love with nails.
No,
He
he's
wants
not.
to make it work, but it's not. I don't get it though. I don't get why they would bring that unless, like Sandra says, that it comes into play next season.
Yeah.
But
Because
it,
I don't like to have some like you're starting something little bit but then you don't go anywhere with it. There has to be a reason why we saw Hank's mom
They've
and he
always
wanted
did. Yeah.
he wants to bring her for dinner, he wants to involve her, he
that
wants to be involved in the family, and then you just drop it.
that poor mama making all that food,
She probably
getting
stayed up
ready.
cooking so much food,
Oh,
and then
mom,
that girl did not even show.
my baby boy's bringing in a woman. Finally, grandbabies. No, that's not. Well, maybe it still could happen, but I think the storyline was just so unnecessary. That was another thing where I was like, I don't think we need it. But yeah, great point. I forgot to bring that up, but yeah, that
So
whole
let's talk
situation.
about. Let's keep talking about Hank for a second. So we know that his prospect, it didn't work out. He killed himself.
Steve, yeah.
He's dealing with that. Are they setting Hank up for a trajectory in season 4 with, he had his eyes on this pretty girl, and he was trying to date her. He didn't care that she was pregnant, and he wanted to still be involved with her. And then she goes back to Angel, and that frustrates him a little bit because he probably knows Angel better than Nails does for sure. That
Yeah.
hey, like this guy is like not going to be the best thing for you. Because I think in Hank's heart, he was like, well, I'm only pursuing you because I'm serious about it. You're not just a thing to me. And then when it came to losing Steve, I just don't know if they're setting Hang up for this big story arc in season 4.
I think that's going to be more of Steve. I think that's going to be heavily on his mind a lot next season. Just him kind of dealing with that. I don't think he's going to go in straight depression mode, but it's going to be eating him up a little bit.
Yeah, I don't picture him being depressed. I picture
Yeah.
him being more hot-headed. I picture him being more quick to be angry. Like, maybe snapping at the other club members,
Yeah.
not putting up with as much bullcrap, if you know what I mean.
I think the relationship with Hank and Angel is now going to be like
Button heads a little
awkward,
bit. Yeah.
yeah, and then it's not going to be the same like this situation got presented now. It's a corkscrew in a relationship basically. What do you think,
I
Sandra?
I think Hank is gonna take Steve's suicide as his fault. Because if you
Hmm.
look throughout all the episode, he was the hardest one on Steve. He
He
was
was his
always
sponsor.
bitching.
Yeah.
He was bitching, and he was his his guy. So for him to be his sponsor and him committing suicide after being patched, I think that's gonna play a lot in his mind of how he's gonna continue and how everything, if they ever get another guy back, is gonna change totally the way he is as a person sponsoring another guy.
Yeah, that's what I think it's going to be so heavily on his mind next season, and you're going to see. I think Elton's going to really use that to showcase more of how how Hank deals with it, and maybe Nails does comfort him. I don't know. Like, because I honestly don't think Nails and Angel are gonna last at all.
No, I don't either.
So we're just gonna have to see. That's why I'm saying, like, hopefully season 4, he does really put the shine on a lot of the more shine. He did a good first step, but let's continue to grow on more shine of these members on the MC. Let's see. Jason said Vengeance Hank won't play. Manuel, what the fuck, Steve? Yeah, no, Steve's gone. That's gonna be interesting too. Is like who's gonna be the next prospect? I'm interested.
I imagine that there won't be enough time to really think about that. Like I said, I don't
so
want
much stuff going on.
I
right
do
now.
not want a time jump between people trying to ram a truck through that gate until like a week later. No, you need to pick up that episode right then and there.
I don't think they're going to
with
do
them
that.
dealing with that.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Then weak sauce all the way.
That I agree with Taylor. That opening scene of season 4 has to be
a fight.
The same as the end of season 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to do the time jump. I think they're going to go straight to that scene because, like, come on, like you got to know what the hell happened there, right? So yeah, the one thing about that scene though that bothered me was that Easy was doing the hero pose, but like the scene was pretty gnarly. It kind of reminded me of the scene when Coco gets dragged out of the car. You know what? That's a good question. So, guys, what do you out of the whole season? What was your favorite episode of the season?
Okay, so I'm thinking I don't think I have a particular favorite one. I think I really like looking at the whole season and I'll give it a final rating if that's easier because I don't have a particular episode that I thought was like superb because there's a lot of connecting pieces.
Let's do a final rating then. Taylor, what's your final rating?
Okay, so my final rating for season 3 is a 7.5 out of 10.
Sandra, what about you?
Well, I think the reason why Taylor and we've been working on Mayans for so long in 3 seasons, we think pretty much alike because before she even said anything, I had 7.5 in my head.
Shut up.
I did.
Great, that's awesome.
Guys.
You're going to give it like a 5?
No, 7.5 out of 10. Shut up! I was going like 7? No, because there was, there is a lot of good here, but then there was a lot of...
That's good.
The writing did creep up. To me, it started strong. I think my favorite episode is probably actually the first 2 episodes. And then it started strong, and then it kind of fizzled a little bit towards the end. The writing really kind of reared its ugly head. But there is a lot of to like here, and I'll say it all the time. I like this season better than I like the first 2 seasons.
Me too.
I'm not saying that the first 2 seasons didn't have good things in there. They did. I think the season 2 finale was better than the season finale on this one. But 7.5, I really feel strongly about a 7.5 out of 10. So I'm actually with you guys. All 3 of us agree a 7.5 out of 10 for this season, and that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
I think that's pretty good. I think that means that a lot of us can see some of the weaknesses, but there was a lot more strengths than there were weaknesses. Like, hey, that's a transition season. Let's just remember that it's a transition season. Season 4, I knew when season 2 ended, I was like, season 3 is going to be a better season. I just had that feeling. I'm just like, season 4 is going to be better than this season. Like.
And the chat is they gave an episode, and I was reeling towards this episode because when I think about it a lot, I really like it. It's the hotel fight scene and Ramos's death episode. That was a good episode.
Okay.
And
more action, To
your question that you threw at Taylor, Dan, I don't have a favorite season, but I can tell you that compared to season 1 and season 2, there was no episode that I hated.
Yeah,
there was an episode that I hated in season 1 and season 2. I did not hate any episode in season 3.
I did dislike maybe 1 or 2 episodes this season. I went on that crazy mini rant, which is funny because like Minnie was in that episode. I didn't try to pun intended that, but I guess it did. There was one, but it never was like Oh my god, this is like, well, no, it was pretty bad, that one episode. But overall, like I if I could sit down every Tuesday and if I could enjoy something and I want to talk about it, it's doing its job. You know, I've been with shows. The example is The Walking Dead, where it just got too much and I couldn't do it no more. So for this season, it was never like that. It was never a chore, nothing like that. It was always something like I looked forward to. Whatever happened happened, and when it happened, I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I see so much light and hope for season 4, and it was a good stepping
Yeah.
first step.
Mimi
Man,
Loves Peace says, I enjoyed it because they had to write themselves out of a hole. And I agree.
yeah, there. And you guys got to remember, yeah, there's so many different. I did think that they would wrap up a lot of the storylines that were left from season 2, but they have so many to bring in here, and they're trying to. I get it. As a creator, you want to introduce your own ideas, even though you're
You
taking
still
over
got
this
to take into
project.
consideration of other things that have already been canonized,
Yeah, so
That's a hard job.
it's a juggle. It's a juggle, and it's sometimes you juggle it just right, sometimes you don't, sometimes you miss it. But I think they did a good. I think the crew. I think Elgin James did a good job this season. I need better job from FX and Disney to promote the
I
show.
agree. So agree.
If they're confident and they gave this another season, then they should be confident about putting some money on promotion and all that stuff
Give
and
the
merchandise.
cast and crew the credit that they
Hmm.
deserve by promoting the show, getting eyes on it. I've said this in the past. Make seasons 1 through 3 completely available to stream on the stream on Hulu. If you got cable still, you should be able to have on demand. You should be able to open up your on demand and be able to watch all 3 seasons.
Yeah,
Let everyone binge and catch up because we have a long time to wait
yeah.
until season 4. You need people who dropped off early to be given the chance to catch up and see where it is now and decide if they want to come back for season 4.
I think they really need to hit the streaming service really hard because
They do.
nowadays that's what it is. It's all about streaming, and we'll see. Hopefully they do. Iron Baron, the show should go on at least another 2 seasons. So I'll ask you guys this: I think the show should have a good, nice 5 seasons overall for the series. Do you guys think they should have? How many seasons do you think overall the series should have? Let's start with Sandra.
I'm okay with 5, because we know that sometimes more is it's less it's more season will just be dreading and then we're gonna start hating it. So
Uh
I
huh.
think 5 is a good number.
I agree with what Sandra said. I would be comfortable with a 6th season if 5
Mm-hmm.
was a really strong hit. But if it's working towards, like Sandra said, if it can't reach that peak point, where this is getting really good ratings and this is getting, people are more confident in how it's going, then they can't drag it out like, too long. It's just going to get worse and worse. 5 would probably be a comfortable
Yeah.
place to end.
Which is really funny because the one complaint about SOA that I hear a lot is that it stretched out a little bit too long for 7 seasons. I think Breaking Bad did a good 5 seasons, but yeah, it just really depends going into this season of how the ratings are. I think do you think Taylor? Do you think Elgin in his mind's like, okay, this is really the one where like if we don't get renewed for season 5, like I got to tell my story season 4 and kind of like leave it to more of an ending than anything.
Yeah, and I kind of feel for him there because I mean when you're looking at shows, I mean this property had a lot of expectations going in. I mean, he knows that. He knows that this spinoff had a lot of expectations. So I can kind of feel the weight on his shoulders right now. Um, I think with this break, they're about to get a little bit of a break.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of time to really sit there and toss around this season 4 story arc. And I liked that these episodes this season were a tad bit longer. If FX gives him the leniency to have hour-and-a-half long episodes and still keep it around 10, I think he's going to condense a bit more. I think he made the connecting threads he wanted to. He ended a couple storylines, and I want to see him really hammer this home.
Yeah.
in season 4. And if that's the end of it, if that's where it lands, then hey, you did a good job, man. At the cast and the crew, everybody, you did a good job.
So what are you looking forward to, Sandra, from season 4? What is your feelings going into that? And yeah, and what, Elgin James is, that mindset and stuff. What do you think about season 4?
Season 4, I would love to have just a storyline around Mayans. Nothing outside of the box. No like stories that like take time of doing the whole civil war should be the whole season. Like the highs, the lows, the battles, the everything. I want and like character development, seeing more about like everything, their struggle and how they're fighting for. I want to have a full 10 season Mayans standalone.
So no B stories.
No B, C, D, or E.
I want to see Emily and Miguel get shelved.
Yes, yes. I don't see it. I don't see like
they shelved Potter until the finale. You can shelf
I guess
Galindos.
I guess the difference is because Potter is like when he came in season 2, and Miguel and Emily been there since season 1.
No, Potter was there at halfway point of season 1.
Was it halfway?
He's been with us way too long. I'm also ready for him to get gone.
I guess I would say that Emily and Miguel had bigger characters than Potter. I guess. I don't
know. Remember Potter, he was waiting outside of the clubhouse with the El Gato?
Yes, it was Gato. Okay. Gato Mis was the episode.
That was it.
There we go.
That was it.
I don't know how that for me, for season 4, it's the same as like I said in the beginning of this season. I would like for a lot of the storylines to be wrapped up earlier. That doesn't take a whole season. And if you're going to introduce newer because we still have the SOA storyline, we still have storylines that I could see go through the whole season. So I would like them to, now that I know how many storylines are going into season 4, I would like them to wrap up at least halfway through the season and then focus on the main ones, right?
Please, yeah.
That I'm okay with B storylines if they're wrapped up nicely and timed perfectly, wrapped up nicely.
Yes, yeah, instead of dragged out. Like if they get a 2-minute scenes every other episode, I'm like, why is it taking that your scenes are only 2.5 minutes, 4 minutes long for your scene?
Yes.
But I have to wait 3 episodes of just getting these tiny pieces. Like, come on.
So 2 things. I just want the writing to be better. I want them to really, the questions that any reviewer asks and critique asks are usually the questions that the writer are asking. Sometimes they'll just go, just go with it, or they'll really kind of take the time to solve it. And a little piece. I know I bring Breaking Bad a lot because Breaking Bad has some phenomenal writing. The final season, I just found this out. The final season, when Walter White has the gun in his trunk, he puts a gun in his trunk, I think before the final season. The writers put that in there to give them a challenge onto presenting that gun back into the season on the final season. They didn't know what they were going to do with that gun. And they perfectly came up with the solution on introducing that gun and helping Jesse Pinkman escape. So that's what I'm talking about. I need these guys to really sit down and really kind of like, if there is a question and there's a problem, they really kind of flesh it out. They come up with a solution that's a little bit executed better. And the editing, I think I need the editing. That's the one problem I had with the season is the editing. Like you said, Taylor, scenes went way too long. Cut down those scenes, trim the fat. You're still going to have a little fat, but trim. There's a lot of trimming that should be done, but you'll still have a little bit. And then of course, yes, more Mayans, more showcase, more spotlight. But if they could do all that,
more motorcycle riding,
more fights, more club meetings, more.
I need to see more club atmosphere in general.
Yeah. Yes, because these guys have the look, they have the chemistry. You're right, cast it all well done. So give me that. But as much as I was bitching the first 2 seasons, I think this season I can't bitch that much because they did do they did a good job. They took the right step. So, but season 4, I'm going to be a little bit harder. If I see the same mistakes and stuff, this
Yes.
shouldn't be an excuse. Elgin has the time. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen to pandemic, of course, but it still should be some improvements here and there. So we'll see about season 4.
Yeah, next season 4, I won't be able to make the excuse that it's a transition season. So
Yeah.
that excuse will be out the window. It'll be like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Then you could be really hard. You could be really hard on this one. So I think we're good. I think we, season finale. I'm sorry if we didn't get to everybody's comments. I mean, this is over. This is 2 hours long, so I think we dwelled into a lot of stuff. And Sandra, man, so Sandra, I think we should be doing. I think we talked about, guys. Just because the season finale and Mayan season is over doesn't mean there ain't gonna be any more talk. Me and Sandra were discussing a cast about Marcus Alvarez, his past and present, and where he might go in the future. Isn't that right, Sandra?
I would love that. It's something that we've been talking about,
Mm-hmm.
and I would be very interested to do a episode about Marcus because, as some of you know, I love the character, and I was hoping that he wouldn't die in any season. I don't want to see him die at all.
Yeah.
But I would like to have a deep dive with you, Dan, on Marcus Alvarez for sure.
Hell yeah, I'm down. And Taylor, we got some more casts. I mean, of course, we're going to be talking about maybe other stuff in the future, movies, TV, but we also have we said that we wanted to do an SOA chat. So maybe like a Q&A kind of cast. So that's going to be happening too, right? Are we right? Are we good to go on that one too, Taylor?
We are, yeah. We will do an Sons of Anarchy cast. We will do answering questions. We will be talking up past plots. We will talk about some of the characters, and we'll have a good old nostalgia trip.
Yeah, and it's gonna, that's the time where Dan cracks a beer. I think Ryo said he's gonna buy me a beer. I'm waiting for that. I'll send you my address. Send me the beer, please. But yeah, there's a lot more on my channel. There is a lot of different, reviews when it comes to movies, TVs. I've got more shows coming up. Loki, Marvel, I'm going to be reviewing. There's some movies that are coming out I'm going to be reviewing too. That new Angelina Jolie movie. So there's
I want to see that. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. I think
Taylor Sheridan, did he write that?
I'm not
Is
sure.
that one of his movies?
I'm not sure. But it drops tonight on HBO Max. The movie theaters are open in my area. So if I can, I usually go to the movies because I love the movie theater experience. I was very sad to see that it might have died, but I don't think it's going to die. But yeah, so there's a lot of content on my channel that you could check out, but I will still presenting a lot of Mayans and a lot of SOA videos too, even though we're, especially with like maybe some news coming out. There's always news that come out in FX, So, but yeah.
Oh, one thing.
Yeah.
Iron Baron says, did Taylor get her coffee?
Not yet. We're working on it.
You can't drag it to the next season.
Okay, guys, I am so sorry. All right, I got it wrong. I got a lot of stuff right, but this one, I was wrong. I thought Bishop was gonna die at the end of the season. I was so I could feel it in my gut, and then season 4 renewed. I'm like, still might happen. And then when I saw Bishop, and he was hardly in the episode, if you think about it. Sitting on that chair, Thanos style, God, he's not gonna die. He's not gonna die. Okay, Taylor, I owe you a coffee. You just gotta let me know which location you wanna get one of those little gift cards and stuff. Yeah, Bishop didn't die, so I was wrong. Dan the man was actually wrong for a change. Most 99.9%, he's usually right. But thank you guys for being with us all season long. Happy days though that are upon us. We got season 4. We finally got confirmation that it's renewed. So it's great to know that we will have another season. More videos, more all that good stuff on the channel. So come check it out. I want to thank Taylor, of course, who's been with me this whole season, and I'm looking forward to more casts, and I'm looking forward to next season. And of course, I want to make Sandra for joining us, and then also looking forward to having some casts with her. So I want to thank both you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So, and yeah, man, yeah, it was a wild ride. Glad we rode this all together. So, yeah, we will see you guys in the next cast. You guys want to give you guys final thoughts and say some byes?
I would like to thank everyone who joined us from my channel after I've decided to stop doing YouTube. I've seen some familiar faces come over here, and I'm very happy that you followed over here to Dan's channel so that you can still hear my thoughts. Dan's been doing a really great job, and I'm really glad that he picked up the mantle, the torch, so to speak. And I thank you guys for all your comments and your likes and making Dan feel, welcome into the new realm of talking Mayans.
Thank you. It's beautifully said, Taylor. Yeah, I'm glad to be in the realm. I'm in it, guys. I'm in it. And Sandra, we got that. We're gonna talk that Marcus. I can't wait for that discussion because we both love Marcus. So.
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah. So welcome aboard, Sandra. Welcome aboard the train. All right, guys. You guys have a good weekend. You guys, enjoy the rest of your day. You too, Taylor. You too, Sandra. I'm Dan the Man, aka Daniel's son. And I'm out of here.